Here we go. Sorry, I thought everyone was muted for a second. Evening, folks. Welcome to The View. An impromptu live stream tonight. Just wanted to have a chat with some lovely people about the fixtures coming out, and we are. It's a good crew. We've got Ollie from the Ollie Ward channel. Evening, Ollie. How you doing, mate?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking, mate. We've got Kate from Leeds Bird Rants. Kate, how's things?
I'm good today, actually. Thank you very much. Yeah, really good day. Thanks.
We're interrupting your drive time, and I apologise for dragging.
No, you did me a favour. To be honest, I don't have to think about it now.
Fair enough. And we've got Lockie fresh off his debut from the Just Joe football show. Lockie, how's things, mate?
Yep, everything's good.
Great. Cool. Well, we'll get into this then. I don't know how long this will be. There's 116 in chat. If you want to like the stream, you can. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. I've already done my one a week, so I won't keep asking. So fixtures came out. We'll go around the houses. Just top line. Ollie, thoughts on it? Has the reality of the championship finally set in?
You know, I was one of these people that after the 2 or 3 days, I think I was fine. I think I dealt with it back in March. I already thought we were gone then. So I was kind of, just looking forward to it. I was looking forward to hopefully how quick, players would go, players would come in, managers would come in. But I feel like we're all in this same, sort of boat that like, I look at these fixtures, I can't tell you who we're going to beat or win or anything because I don't know what this Leeds side is going to look like. So I'm just, I'm happy there's some games there. We've got difficult months. We've got a good first game, got a difficult end game. But yeah, I'm feeling okay.
Good. Kate, how are you feeling about it?
Do you know what? I'm actually quite excited about the whole thing, to be honest, yeah. And what I thought about was, in particular, there's about, I think I worked it out, there's about five new managers in the championship, or there's going to be when we finally get one, I think. And so that makes it even more exciting because you've got obviously Enzo at Leicester. You've got the new guy Errol at he's gone to Cardiff, hasn't he? And he's got a really good win rate because I keep thinking about what you said the other night. Between 43 and 50 or whatever it is, he's got a really good win rate. Comes from Fenerbahce, so I think there's some good managers. I think the standard is going to be quite high this year, and I think we need, it's a challenge, and we need to sort of face it head on. So I'm really excited, actually.
It's typical though, isn't it? The championship gets tough the year Leeds drop back into it. Like can we have last season's table where it's Luton and Coventry screaming for promotion? Yeah. Just to point out, because it's been said in chat, if I can find it, he's working tonight. I did ask. Joe is working, so that's why we've no Joe. We did ask. Of course we asked Joe. Of course we did. I won't get to much chat tonight because we've got everybody on. So if I don't get the comments, don't worry about it. We'll probably do a stream tomorrow night on our usual Friday stream, and we'll do our normal chats then. Ben, how are you feeling about the whole thing?
Yeah, you know what? I saw, when we got relegated, you take a few days, don't you? And then after that, it's like, got to move on, is what it is. And then you see the results. You see the fixtures today, and you go, and you look at teams, Bournemouth getting all these players, and that could have been us. But we are where we are. Back to reality, I guess, isn't it? Really, back to what we were used to.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but yeah, it does look exciting though. I'm looking at the fixtures, going, there's some good games in there.
There is some, yeah. There is. We'll go through them in a bit more detail. Yeah. But yeah, it's I'm just looking forward to winning more games. Hopefully, assuming we win more than 7. I'm confident. If nothing else.
Yeah.
If we don't win more than 7 games, something seriously has gone wrong somewhere. Also, just to point out real quick, because people have been asking about it today, the video today was not me saying Patrick Vieira will be the next Leeds manager. The video today is Team Talk saying Leeds United will appoint Vieira. But bear in mind, Team Talk did say QSI were taking over Leeds in January, and that was debunked within 30 minutes of that story going live. So all that stuff, that's why I usually say pinch of salt. So just, bear that in mind, because the Yorkshire Evening Post are saying it probably isn't Vieira, and it'll probably be the end of the weekend before we hear anything, as there's 1, possibly 2 people being interviewed today. So there's that. There's a bit of hope to bring you to your
not Monday, for God's sake. I don't think I can cope.
I know.
5:07 p.m. announcement on Monday.
Oh, dear God.
I'm okay with it. I keep saying I'm okay with it because I'm assuming if they're interviewing lots of candidates, we'll get a piece at the back end of it, and whoever we get, ultimately we'll support them anyway, initially anyway. Until
they lose to Ipswich.
Yeah.
Or even worse, it'll be If you Plymouth at home this week, like, yep, that's it. Out you go. So let's talk about it. We've got Ollie, the first look at the fixtures. First month specifically, we open up against Cardiff at home. Actually, John, we'll pop it up on the screen so everyone has a look at it. We've got Cardiff at home. How are you feeling about that? As an open.
I feel like we could have got a harder game. To be fair, I'm not saying they're a pushover. But it's at home. It's good that we've got our first game at home. Like I said, in the intro, it's hard to. I am excited for the fixtures. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the season to start, but I don't know who's like. We're also like we don't know who's in charge. We don't even know what lineup we're going to have. So like, I know that's such a I'm not to say that answer for everything you asked me tonight, but like, do you know what I mean? It's a good first game. I'll say a good first game at home against Cardiff. Let's go. You know what? August, I genuinely think if we do things right, I mean, okay, I'm going to say it. We're going to go unbeaten in August. That's what I'm saying. We're going to start off strong.
Okay. Brave predictions.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
You did. Can't take it back now either. It's public.
No.
Lucky, what's your thoughts on the opening and the start?
Unbeaten in an entire month. Who'd have thought, eh? But you know what? I like that thought because we can now because we're one of the big fish now, which is so weird. Yeah, I think it's a good start looking at them. West Brom's a good one if Carlos is there, if he's not with us. I've got a theory on that. But Cardiff have got a new coach, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's some tough ones. Birmingham as well. They're going for a bit of a rebuild. It's a good start. But yeah, some decent fixtures in there. I'm looking forward to Cardiff at home. First game, always good.
I'm predicting Tyler Roberts. Sorry,
Tyler
Roberts.
Yeah.
Birmingham, no.
There's that as well, isn't there?
Could you imagine?
Yeah. He'll be injured. I
was going to say, it's assuming he gets through the first game of the season, the preseason.
He'll come off injured.
Kate, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we've got a good record, haven't we, on the opening game of the season? So that kind of bodes well. Like I said before, we're in the same boat as quite a few other clubs. Like I say, Cardiff have got a new manager. We will as well. Guys, who knows? I mean, you'd like to think that we could get through August with it. I mean, clean sheets. I mean, crikey, can we get a few clean sheets, please? I mean,
what is a clean sheet? What is that?
What is winning a football match?
It's when the other team don't score. I know it's a novel. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so long. But yeah. I mean, I think potentially, if we get sorted. Absolutely, we could get through August with some wins, but I think it all depends on the appointment and the kind of team they've got to work with, and like so many variables, isn't there?
Yeah, that is the big caveat of the whole thing. Of we don't have a manager, we don't know who's staying and who's going. The only thing, and people keep saying David Prutton was talking about it today as well, and he was basically saying Leeds will be a big fish. You hope so. Like you would hope that we would win that division as the big fish. We've been in there before when it hasn't gone particularly well. As even though we are, the big scalp that everyone wants to get when they're in the championship, but it will all depend on what the team looks like, who's in charge of that. That West Brom game could be an interesting one if Carberan is in the opposition dugout or if he's in the home dugout. Either way, that's going to be an interesting fixture as well. But I think if you look at it, assuming there's going to be reasonably good investment in the team, assuming a half-decent leveled manager is appointed, you're looking at the opening month going, that's not bad. Cardiff struggled last year, when we thunked them at home in Elland Road in the Cup when we did play them. So you've got that. Ipswich are a tricky one for me as well. I think coming up into the championship and the Premier League, we're not in that division anymore. I've got to get that out of my head.
In your dreams,
coming up into the second tier of English football, into the championship. Yeah, and Leif Davis as well, who had a banger of a season last year, most assists in League One from a fullback position as a left back, which we don't have still. It's interesting. Ollie, where do you think? Well, actually, before I get to that, I wanted to talk about December because it looks like someone's just gone. Screw Leeds. Here you go. Here's December. Yeah. Away to Blackburn, away to Sunderland, away to Preston, away to West Brom. You've got home games against Coventry, Ipswich, and Middlesbrough. How are we feeling about that? That looks, there's a huge amount of games in that spell.
We need depth, isn't it, guys? That's why we need depth in the squad.
100%. Yeah.
Months like that.
Is that what's 1, 2, 3, 4 games in the space of how many days there?
You've got 7
Mental.
between 2 and 9, then you have 3, 4,
Not a
7
lot.
days, 3 and 7 days.
Wow. That's key, isn't it? I think this year. Those weeks where there's 3 games in a week, those are the ones, because you think about it, how tight the championship is as well. If you're starting the week in 3rd or 2nd or whatever, and you go into that week and have a bad week, you could be in 13th, 14th. It's that tight. So those
100%.
those weeks with 3 or whatever games in are huge.
Ollie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's I forgot the amount of games you have to play in the championship. It's actually quite horrible, isn't it? You got to play one on Saturday, then one on Tuesday, then back on Saturday. And like December looks very tricky. There's some good teams in there, obviously. Helped by a couple of back home games, but they're tricky, and that's what we speak about at the top of the show. This championship looks good. The quality looks like the best there's been in a long time in the championship. Like you said, why couldn't we just get last season's championship? But yeah, even I think the teams that come down, obviously us, Leicester and Southampton, 3 big teams, and also Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday coming up as well. There's going to be a lot of decent teams, and I don't think any of these teams at the moment I can look at and go, yeah, that's an easy 3 points for us necessarily. Apart from the fact I said we're going to go unbeaten in August, but we'll talk about Ipswich away. In August, our record at Portman Road is awful. So, and they're a tricky side as well. So I don't know. It's going to be a good one. I'm actually really looking forward to it. But I like everyone has been saying, literally everyone, we need a manager first, and I want to know who wants to stay. I can't be bothered with all these players that are like, oh, I'm going to leave. I'm going to just go at this point. I don't care who you are, just leave. I want to start fresh. I want a new team. I want just players that want to play for Leeds United in the championship.
We want our identity back, don't we? Really?
Yeah, totally.
100%. A word keeps coming up, identity, doesn't it? Culture and identity. It's they're two huge things. You get them right, everything else follows on from that, doesn't it? So,
100%.
Kate, some tricky ones in December, because you look at this, you've got Borough, who had a decent season last year under Michael Carrick. If he carries that form into next season, you're looking at a really strong Borough team if he gets backed. You've got Blackburn in a reasonably good season for a lot of the year in playoffs for most of the season last year until the last day of the season. They fell out of it. Sunderland, playoff semi-finalists in there as well. Coventry, playoff finalists. Then you have Ipswich coming up, and you've got West Brom, who, if they back Corberan in the summer window, if they sort out their issues behind the scenes, could be a strong side as well. That's a tough. And you come out of December, that tees you up into where you're going to finish usually. Because if you remember back to when we were in the championship, coming through those Christmas games was always do well here. We're set up for the run-in for the league. So what do you think?
Oh God, I mean, I'm kind of the belief that we I don't know. It might be sort of sort of living in dreamland, but I really do think we need to be top 2 by at Christmas or after Christmas. I mean, if we start, certainly no lower than 4. I mean, we have to be sort of getting automatic promotion. I don't think we can do playoffs. I don't want us to do playoffs. And you're absolutely right, Jer. Those games in December. I mean, every single one of those, Ipswich, the way they've been playing, like you've just been talking about, every single one of those will be a challenge, I think. And Preston maybe not so, but I don't know, Borough again replicate last season, and so it's going to be really difficult. We're going to have to need squad depth, really really good rotation, and and fitness as well. We're going to have to sort of start getting our fitness back and being able to really really sort of push teams, because if we carry on like we did in the last season, do you know what I mean? It's just going to be, I don't want to think of that. So yeah, that's what I think. We've got to finish top 2. I think for me, top 4 lowest. I think. I don't know what do you think? What do you think, guys?
I'm with you. I think if we are not in the top 4 come December, there's a lot of work still to be done. Then coming in January, then you're looking at another transfer window where you need to do some business to try and give yourselves a kick. But it's an important month, but as I said, there's a huge amount of strong teams in there as well. But we haven't taken into consideration, we've said that, Carrick and Borough did well last year instead of West Brom, but we didn't take into consideration was Michael Carrick didn't come in to start last season. He came in late in the year and managed to go on an incredible run with Middlesbrough and get close to the playoffs. Corberan as well, third of the way through the season when he came into West Brom. Now they've got a full pre-season behind them, reinforcements, and then they can, see what they can do. And as I said on Joe's stream the other night, Corberan had a 51% win ratio at West Brom. Imagine what that's like from the start of the season if you can replicate that. So, you could come out of that month going, if again, all this is assuming, but if they are strong and you come out of December with a good string of results there, you should be very well placed. Am I right thinking that, Ollie?
I was just going to say quickly as well. Sunderland shouldn't be slept on. They're a dark horse for me.
Yeah.
I think their recruitment's been really good, and they've done 3 or 4 players already, I think.
Yeah.
So they're a team I think could push for automatics genuinely. I think
it'd be interesting to see who they can hang on to as well, because there is some interest in a few of their players. Jack Clark, he had a point to prove coming back to Ellen Road. Everyone forgets that Jack Clark didn't leave Ellen Road in a particularly good way. There was a lot of social media digs at Bielsa when he left. Ollie, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've just kind of been thinking about what I've been wanting to say, in the fact that, this might be not relevant to your point at all, so I apologize. But, I was thinking back to the interview today with David Broughton, and, a lot of these players, and this is actually so not relevant to what you said, but it was just in my head and I don't want to lose it. Cool. But like all these players, the players that still want to leave, right, and talk about how the Championship isn't, that they're not. What I want with us, what I want with Leeds is, I know a lot of us are saying top 2 and top 4. Will Leeds give that to us? Will these players, them players that played for us embarrassed themselves last year?
Yeah, they did.
And it's not a massive step down. This Championship, the quality is very good. So it's a thing where I really want Leeds to prove. Yeah, I want us to, because I'm going into this season thinking, let's hope. But I don't even know if we're going to go straight back up at all. But I just really want. I don't really know what I'm on about. Okay, I'm actually getting frustrated that I don't know what I'm speaking about, because the players annoy me so much.
Are you looking for a fixed Leeds United side that do what Burnley did this year and go and just run through the Championship?
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what we all want, obviously. But I just don't see, if we stick on to half of the players, we were having a go at them the back end of last season. I know it's Premier League. I know it's different. But a lot of these players I just don't think are good enough. And only because they drop down to the Championship doesn't mean Brendan Aronson will start being the next Messi, or it doesn't mean, I don't know. I just feel like they need to kick up the arse, or they need to get out. And I'm just frustrated with these players. And I think I'm frustrated overall, because nothing's being done. No one's leaving. No one's coming in. We don't have a manager. Like, I'm actually genuinely just frustrated, and I'm sorry that was just completely off the cuff.
No, I'm going to talk a bit more about that, because even the players that got us out of the Championship before, what should be said about those players is they had 3 seasons of 15th place finishes before Bielsa took them over.
Exactly.
So there's no guarantee that just because they've won the Championship before, when they drop back down into it, they'll be able to go and do it again, because they didn't for quite a long time. They'd 4 cracks at it, one under Bielsa that they didn't make, and then the 3 before that, and didn't work out particularly well at all. And then you had, obviously, this season we did get promoted with Bielsa. So the older players in that squad need a very strong manager, and they clearly need to be very fit. And I don't know if the legs are there 4 years on from what they were when they went up the last time. It's a huge jump. And again, 46 games will take it out of you. You won't be playing on great pitches every single week. Some of those pitches are going to be tough to play on when it gets into the winter as well. So, that there's a valid point there, Ollie. I think,
Yeah, no, sorry. So it was a bit ranty, but it's just that thing where, it's a thing where in my head, you know what I mean? Like in my head, this team is still the most unlikable team for me. Like, do they have a strong? Like, I feel like half of them go, like, oh, we're dropping down to the Championship. No, I'm not doing that. You're the reason we're in the Championship. You're not good enough to be a Premier League player. That's why we're now in the Championship.
And we can't spend the whole night talking about Robin Koch, Ollie. We can't. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? And I genuinely think that's it. If these players have actually taken this summer and gone, we were awful last season, we need to prove that we're actually good enough to get out of this division. But I don't think half of them even want to challenge it. I really don't. No, they don't want the challenge. And I don't mean to be negative, and I feel like I've taken I don't know what's, maybe I haven't eaten enough, but I just need to.
I was going to say, I agree with you, Ollie. Like, what you need in a game, 46 games, is you need a unit that is fully in on whatever system you play, whoever coach it is. They have to be there for that coach. They have to be there for the club. They have to represent the club. It can't be, I don't want to hear rumours of players leaving in January. I want a squad that is going to be there for the full season. That is in it for the season. and then
Yeah.
look to progress from there. I don't want any talk of transfers and this and that. We need to establish. We need to
So
establish.
angry.
I talk with my hands. I'm mental. We need to establish the core squad that really want to be here. And if some maybes, they need to go for me.
Yeah, it's the thing is,
can't
you
have
play
that
for Leeds
environment.
United. It doesn't matter what division you're in. I want players that want to play for Leeds United at the worst of times and at the best of times. And I don't feel like we have enough players like that. I honestly don't. And I think
what about the older guys? What about the older guys, Ollie? Do you think they should stay?
I feel like, you know, some of them should. Do I think they should be starting?
No.
Not all of them, no. I do think, you know, I think I've spoke about it before. A lot of them are very good to have behind the scenes with the younger players. But then there was rumours not long ago that the younger players, you know, were blaming older players for the reason we're doing so bad. And, you know, I just feel like it's an odd mix
toxic,
of players.
isn't it?
Yeah,
it does feel a bit like that. And only because we've dropped down a division, and it kind of feels like everyone's gone, oh, I've been relegated. Right, this team are going to be brilliant again. And it's like, I just don't think that's the case. And I really want it to be. I really hope we turn up in the championship. But for me, we're not doing enough now. You know, if it was 2 days after we got relegated, you know, players were getting shipped out. We had a manager. We had a plan. You know, pre-season's round the corner, and we don't know what we're doing. Like, it's an absolute mess. The 49ers for me have been too quiet. Players don't know if they want to be here or not. We don't know who we want in.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm frustrated. Do you know what I mean? I'm just frustrated.
There's a lot.
I think. Sorry, I was just going to.
No, go for it, Ben. Go for it.
Once that manager is done, I think after that we'll see a lot of movement quickly. It has to be, and I think once the head of the team is there, then you know exactly who wants to stay, who wants to go. We can buy players, we know who they want, stuff like that. I think that coaching needs to be right, though. We need to get the right person, and it sounds like they are taking a while, but it sounds like they're really going into who they want, which is what we need. We need the right guy.
So. I hope so. So we don't tomorrow suddenly wake up and it's Patrick Vieira. I hope, because if it's taken this long to get him, then something is seriously wrong.
There's definitely more names, isn't there? There's some names. There definitely is.
There's a lot more names. The only thing I'd say about it is we are judging Vieira, and I am guilty of this, judging Vieira on what he's done at a different club, you know, without massive financial backing. So if it's a case that he does come in, I think everyone gives him the benefit of the doubt, and we see what kind of backing. There's a lot of people saying, well, sorry, not a lot of people. Team Talk were saying today that one of the first things he will try and do is convince Jack Harrison to stay at the club because they have a relationship going back to New York City. So, you know, in the championship, he will be a big player at that level.
Not interested. I'm
with you. I'm with you. I'm saying with all of this. I would like a look at a whole new 11. I want squad numbers change. I want captaincies change. I want to see a fresh, clean, new Leeds United side next season. And I would agree with what Ollie said as well about having the experienced players behind the scenes. I've said that, but the more we say it, the more you lean back to last season. There was that incident where one of the games at the back end of the season where Ayling passed the ball to Somerville and Somerville let her run out of play, and Ayling absolutely ripped into him for nothing. Yeah.
And Christiansen he's had a go at as well.
Yeah. So
for his own ineptitude, he needs to buy.
And that's on the coach, isn't it? Again, the coach has to you're kind of say what is right and what is wrong. That's what we're gonna have to do.
It's culture. This is where the coach has to create the culture. I've done it as a manager. When I was a player, I was pretty mouthy. I could be pretty annoying to referees and to my manager. And there was times where I turned around and told my manager where to go, and I was pulled off the pitch straight away, immediately. It's like, that's it. You don't talk back like that to me. And I've done it as a manager. One of my last games in my last club was like 2 players told me where to go, and I was like, right, off straight away. Let's go.
I think you need to go and take charge, Jack.
No,
I really do. I
have anger issues. Okay, I retired and stayed.
Need it.
No, but it's a valid point because it's the manager dictates the culture. The culture goes down through the players, down through the ranks into 21s as well.
Culture is everything.
Huge thing. And there's not enough managers, I don't think, have a belief in culture or look to create a culture. And I think that whoever comes in here needs to be able to manage a dressing room and needs to be able to dictate to the players, this is the line, you toe it or you go. That's the end of it. And that has to come in. It's going to take a strong manager to do that. Or, as we've already said, a clean out of the players, new group of players, and then you've got a manager who can just set the tone immediately from the new players coming in. So we can't have split dressing rooms, we can't have any of that, but it's no. It's important.
Did you read the article in the Yorkshire Post today? Or was it Graham Smith's article?
The one he did like an hour ago or something?
Yeah. About how important it is, literally, when they're looking at a manager, the things that they look for is literally instilling a culture and how they're going to do that, how they're going to bring the fans, the whole thing, because it is holistic, isn't it? And that's exactly what Bielsa did, isn't it? So that's what we need, root and branch. We need our identity back. We've spoken about it before. Culture,
That's it with Bielsa, wasn't it? Like we always said, the squad that he had wasn't a winning championship squad. He finished 13th the league before he came. But what he did was he improved the players by obviously his training regime, but also instilling a culture that everyone believed in the system he played and they'd do anything for that system. And that's what we need similar to for me.
It was a case of if you didn't do it, you went. And thinking about Bielsa and the big ones for me, Samuel Saiz, Pontus Jansson. Refusing to come back from pre-season on time, wanted an extra week for his holidays, and Bielsa said no, get back, and he said no. And when he did come back, Bielsa turned onto the board and said, sell him and take the first bid you get from him. And he went off to Brentford for 5 million. And then you also look at Pablo Hernandez, cult hero club, takes the armband off, throws it on the ground in one of the games, plays one more game after that for Leeds, and that was his final game that he played for Leeds, saying goodbye. It was the only reason why he was on the pitch. So again, you've got a manager who looks and goes, that's the captain. I don't care. You step over the line, you disrespect me, you disrespect the badge, you come off. And that's going to need to change. So many players for me last year, in performances alone, didn't represent the badge, didn't represent the club the way they should have. So you need to get that sorted out. And I'm hopeful. And I'm okay. I keep saying I'm okay with the silence and I'm okay with the timing on this, because the more you read up on the 49ers, the more you realize this is actually a set process that they have. They believe in this process. And it's good that they've got a process. Like last year when we were trying to hire Javi and then trying to hire Sam, there was no process. It was like, whose phone number have you got? Can you ring them? This time around, they seem to be going through an awful lot of people. So that's good to see. But again, to Lockie's point, when that manager's announced, things need to start happening like rapidly, quick.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
who are these?
Come.
Sorry, who are these other, managers? I know you guys don't know.
They're not saying, are they?
It's a thing. Like, what other quality is there out there? Do you know what I mean?
I have a say.
Go for it.
So I know what you're going to say, Lockie.
Darren Moore.
Carlos Corporate.
Yeah. So the reason is right. All the others are out of jobs. He's not. Do you reckon? I don't know how media works like this, but as he said to Leeds, I will give you an interview, but I don't want my name out there, as he's also at a championship club. And if the interview didn't go well and he didn't get the job, West Brom fans would not be happy. So do you think there's like a silence of his name there potentially?
Yeah,
maybe.
Possibly.
That's why
they are back in pre-season next week. West Brom. They're back a week before us. I think they set the dates a bit earlier, so that'll be interesting if they don't.
I'm also seeing some of their is it O'Shea there sent about really good play for them. Yeah, players like that leaving.
They've got financial problems apparently. There's not a huge amount of money, and the CEO has left, and there's they're trying to do something, but it's as Andrea Radrozani has just said, it's all hearsay. We won't know till they actually get in there. But yeah, I keep saying that I have a funny feeling it's going to be a name that hasn't been mentioned. And I have a sneaky feeling it could be Darren Moore. Oh. And I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't have a massive problem with Darren Moore, from being honest about it. Plays a good brand of football. In terms of brand of football.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. I wouldn't.
Ollie's not so sure.
I just don't know, man. Do you know what I mean? Like it's I don't know from where that's a bit of reality check, when we're getting linked with these managers, and it's a bit like Darren. Like, I mean, I don't mind Darren Moore. But I feel like under pressure, his sides don't. Like Sheffield Wednesday was so clear top two. I know in the end they did get promoted, but they were so clear top two in League One, and then they just completely fell apart. How do we not know he's not going to do it? But I mean, I'm basing it off a season.
They weren't expected to do well with the squad that they had last season, though. They were predicted to be a mid-table side at best, and they managed.
No, but once you're there, similar with Arsenal. Once it's they were there and they started to fall apart, you're like, well, you should be doing better. It is a disappointing season. I mean, they done well. Obviously, Arsenal did do well, but at the end of the day, you walk away with nothing apart from Champions League football, which is obviously brilliant. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm coming to a point where I just don't care who we get in, which is an awful thing. Ollie. I know, obviously, I do. I do care.
You want it done.
I know what you're saying.
I want it done. I want it done.
It's weird because
48.6 win rate, Darren Moore. Can I just say?
Yeah, that's very good. See, I don't know enough stats. I come in here too angry, and then normally everyone else I do videos with go, actually, this is it, and I go, oh, okay. So maybe I'm just
No,
maybe
I'm
I should
like
do a
that
bit more
usually. It's only
research.
I've got Wikipedia up. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's all it takes, really. Kate, that's all I was doing today. Was just pulling up the manager stats, going, has he got a good win rate? Is he going to win the championship? What guy hasn't got wins? You know, you could there's tons of them, but I think there's definitely a pattern with the names being linked that are out of jobs. Lucky, I think it's a really interesting shout to say, well, maybe managers in jobs because of the time of the year. It is have said, not a word. Don't not a word. But they would need permission to speak to him is the only thing. They would have to get permission off unless they've offered West Brom compensation and said, look, but if you leak it, we're not going to do that. We're going to back out of the deal. So and the 49ers do things in quiet. So
stop teasing us, Jazz.
I'm not. I don't genuinely don't.
It's all Graham's fault because he said in thing today that the Vieira stuff isn't as advanced as people think.
Graham's messing with my head all week.
Like, they all are. They're doing my head in. And he said there's still interviews to go.
All of a sudden, I've looked at Graham Smith as the voice of reason in all of the noise. And his podcast last week when he said that what was he said about the takeover or the manager situation? That I can't remember what it was now, but he said something last week, and I was like, that was the opposite of what I was thinking. Like, oh, maybe he's right now. And then I'm going to this week. I watched his podcast today and I was like, oh God, he's right as well, isn't it? Maybe it's not going to be Vieira. Maybe it's going to be somebody else. And I like the fact that we don't know. I like the fact that there's nothing really coming out of the club. And I just think in the long term, that's a positive thing. We're not going to get used to it because we've had a chairman for the last 5 years who discovered Twitter, you know, so we can keep so we have to get used to that a little bit, I suppose, and be a normal club for a bit, which would
it'd be lovely,
really refreshing and weird at the same time. But we've gone off from the fixtures. Let's have a quick chat. Quick, Ollie, if you can pick a manager that you realistically a manager that's been either named or you think is a good manager, who would you go for?
I would, out of all the ones that I know have been linked with, obviously there could be behind the scenes ones, but I think Daniel Farke personally, for me, just I believe, you know, he's got the championship experience. I feel like, you know, give him some transfers, he'll get some players in. I think Norwich actually played really good, high quality football. I don't know if he can recreate that with us. I hope he can. Argue, you know, we've probably got better players than they had at this point in time, like when he was there. So I think out of all the suggestions, I would have him. But obviously there is, you know, I think that's like a realistic one that I want. I don't even know an unrealistic one I want at this rate. But
Raul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, true.
And this is just to be clear on the Raul thing. This is all of your fault, Lucky. 100% this is your fault. Because you mentioned that thread and I started reading it. Anyone I've mentioned has read it.
It's a great thread, isn't it? It really good.
Comment on my video yesterday from somebody who said, I don't want Raul. And then I did obviously posted that when I mentioned him and then gone and looked at the thread because I mentioned the thread in the video and then came back and went, ignore what I said. I'll be happy with Raul. And you're like, okay. Everyone. So this is on you, mate.
Oh no.
Lucky, outside of Raul, who would you like? Realistically.
Realistic, right. It is two. Daniel Farke, I'd be very happy with. Don't get me wrong. I'd absolutely love him. But for the sake of the video and to make it a different opinion, I'll go Carlos.
Yeah.
I still, what Graham said, I still think there's a chance they could be speaking to him. I still think there is. Potentially.
Do you know what I think?
They're not naming them on purpose, are they?
Naming them, no. But I'm trying to get my right notes here. I've got the right notes. It's the wrong pad. I've got too many notebooks. There was something in the 49ers recruitment, this dossier that they use, right? And it said, here it is. They like to look for someone who can reset a culture, reboot, and change teams' fortunes. And they look for common threads in what they do. And the dossier says that they look for a coach, not necessarily tactical awareness, but somebody who is a leader and can improve a team. That to me screams Corberan.
Yeah.
If you look at what he's done at West Brom and Huddersfield, no, he hasn't won anything, but he has changed their
massively improved,
created a culture, and he's improved their fortunes. So that's where I think it could be Corberan. But
you know, give him a project, give him a budget that Leeds can offer. You know, you never. There's potential, isn't there? But I still think it will be Farke, and I'd be very happy with that.
Does Carlos play similar football to like how Bielsa did?
He adapts.
Like, is that what he? Is that what he tries to?
Hard work principle and all that stuff is the same, but the style he adapts a lot more. You can press, you can also sit back.
Yeah, he does.
Because I haven't watched much of it. It's just every time when someone mentions, because again, I'm coming at it with no stats, no anything. But every time someone mentions Carlos, I just sometimes feel like we're trying to recreate the past, and I'm like, sometimes I do want to get away from it. I love Bielsa, of course I do.
Yeah,
but if he plays different style, I understand, but I feel sometimes I do just want to get away from it. And I know we tried to get away with it under Marsh and under Well, actually, no, that was supposed to be he plays
Marshall's
similar style
He was
football.
supposed to be
Yeah.
Bielsa Mark too, wasn't he?
Yeah, which
It was just running stats, though. That's all it was.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Radrizzani looked at the model and went, everyone talks about Leeds running numbers and our running stats, and then went, we need a coach that we can replicate this with. So they went, they've got Jesse Marsh, who arguably his team did run a lot, and the running stats were high under him.
That's about it, though, isn't it?
Wasn't any football in that, So there was times it looked great, but other times it just looked awful. But yeah, I think this time around will be slightly different. Kate, where's your head at with this?
Oh God, every single time I come onto a different stream, it changes because of what other people are saying. Do you know what I mean? Like I was
your
really
opinion tight, Kate. Don't let it go.
I know, but oh God, you see now that you're saying that there's like a few people being, I mean, I'd really like, to be honest with you, I'd really like someone who isn't mentioned if they are good, because I'm sick of this constant stream of the same old names, Parker, Vieira, yada yada yada, who in the end, Scott Parker for me is a definite no. I mean, I've heard that in the dressing room, Vieira, there was some unrest in the dressing room at Palace as well. I don't know what that was
Jordan
about.
shared that on Team Talk on
he did
during the week that he didn't hear good things about Vieira behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Fark could do a great job. I would not be, I mean, in an ideal world, I wouldn't even be discussing him. Yeah. But given the part that we're looking at the moment, the people who've been mentioned, I'd say Fark would do a great job. But I also think Corberan would be really exciting. And I do agree with Lockie that, nothing to do with Bielsa, but he does play a really exciting style of football, and he's really disciplined, and I really like that. And I think that's desperately what these players need. So, personally, I wouldn't be unhappy with either of them. If it was Darren Moore, would I be unhappy? Oh God, I don't know. What we can't afford to do is get to Christmas and have to sack somebody, is it?
Yeah, we don't.
We need to get this so right.
I think
so I don't know, Jared.
If we're struggling, I think it'll be a lot quicker than that. I don't think they'll leave it till Christmas. I think they'll move pretty quickly to fix it.
God. Not 4 again this year. Next year.
Darren Moore gets split opinions because he did have a period at West Brom that didn't go particularly well from there as well. But you see how West Brom were after that even, and you see what's going on at West Brom right now, and they haven't got themselves sorted behind the scenes. So, Carlos has done a good job with that team, which is a great thing to see. But whether he can replicate that in a full season, it remains to be seen. Whether he can do it a second time. I think Square Ball said it this week. Can Carlos Corberan do the same thing at West Brom they did last year, again with less resources, which is tougher? Will he walk? Because he walked to the Huddersfield pretty quickly when they weren't going to back him. He left immediately. Clearly he doesn't like the project and doesn't think there's going to be back in there. He will move. Darren Moore's football style is quite nice. It's quite. I mean, I didn't watch a huge amount of it, but I watched a couple of the playoff games with Sheffield Wednesday, and I thought they pretty much went for it in every single game. That's why I like. Again, I look at style of play more than I look at what they've won as a manager necessarily, because as I said in Joe's stream, there's only so many managers can win things any given season. And you can get the best teams all the time. Like, look at the Premier League. Is every manager in the Premier League a bad manager because they don't win the title?
Well, Company won nothing before he went to Burnley and absolutely ripped up the Championship.
I know.
As a manager, not as a player, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's I as I said on Joe's stream last week, I still have a funny feeling the name that gets appointed, we're all going to go, didn't expect that one. So
we've all been like gassing and getting stressed and frustrated for absolutely nothing. It's all been
just real quick to fly through a couple of super chats came in. So massive thanks for this. Problem with Farke, if we get promoted, he'll struggle in the Premier League, possibly.
I don't think he
potentially.
And the T lady,
we can worry about that though right now.
We need to get there, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm of the opposite. I want to have somebody, again, that culture and identity piece. Yeah. I want someone who can create that, because that's not a 12-month job. That's a 3-year job. Like, that's a 3 to 5 year kind of.
Sounds like that's what the 49ers want as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd hope so. Yeah, but again, the results will depend on that. But again, you can argue the fact, and everyone has argued this till the cows came home, that Farke wasn't massively backed by Norwich. His best players were sold from underneath him. So there was issues there as well. If the 49ers are what we think they're going to be, if the money that we think is going to be there, and he gets proper backing. Also, from what I've been reading as well, the 49ers have been proven in the past to be pretty ruthless with things as well. So they might look at it. The contract that's been rumored for Vieira is a 1-year deal with an option to extend. So I think that could be for any manager that comes in. I think they could look at it and go, it's a 1-season contract. We will extend it to 3, depending on what happens this season. But you have to get us out of this division this season before we look at extending. I think that's a smart move.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
Does that motivate you as a manager?
well, if I want that job, yeah, because I want it, and I want it in the Premier League. So if you believe in yourself and you back yourself as a coach, you'd look at that and go, "This isn't a 1-year deal. This is a 3-year deal. I've got this in the bag. I can get this thing up." You know, it's a formality for people who would believe in themselves. Going back to Gary Monk briefly, one of the reasons apparently that he left Leeds was because Rad's offered him a 1-year deal and he wanted a 3-year contract, and he was refusing to sign a 1-year deal, and so that's what happened
I
there.
think it's good in a way, Jed, because I mean, you kind of like, you literally have a year. You can't sit on your hands and think, oh God, well, you know, if we don't do it this year, we'll get back next. You literally have a year to prove yourself. And if you believe in yourself, like I believe that Daniel Farke could do that. Yeah, why wouldn't you? I can sort of, you know, get why people think, oh God, maybe they don't believe me too much. But it depends how much you want the job, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you really want it, you're going to go and accept that. Like if you're Graham Potter or someone that isn't going to come. I know, I keep getting told, but I'd like him.
But again, what Lockie said earlier on, you don't know, because he hasn't taken over at Palace, which he was rumored to be doing. It looks like everything from coming out of Palace is that they want to keep Hodgson for at least 1 more year to reset the club and get back to where it was steady before he moved on. Does Potter sit around and wait until January to get a club? And if he does get a club in January, it's going to be a club in the bottom half of the Premier League. Why not take a club that is coming up potentially into the Premier League? And I keep saying about Potter. Potter takes 12 months for his systems and his styles to land. Everyone talks about what he did at Brighton. It took him a year before anyone even acknowledged what he was doing at Brighton, because it takes time. You look how long it took him at Chelsea, although Chelsea's a different kettle of fish.
Honestly, I've just seen a smile on his face.
I know.
I can't be the one that's made you believe this, so knock it out of your head, because you'll be devastated if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, true. I am like, very.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? There's interviews happening that we don't know the names of, so there's got to be managers that are probably not in jobs, right?
Who basically said, don't say anything. There's got to be that, hasn't there?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's weird to me. It's really weird.
Well, if you look at the rumours that have potentially come out against the other rumours that have come out, Leeds apparently never spoke to Brendan Rodgers. They liked him, but it was made very clear that he wouldn't be interested in coming to Leeds in the Championship, so they never spoke to him, even though he was the favourite for 2 weeks. And everyone was saying Rodgers, and even my channel was saying that as well. Turns out
I've done so many videos.
Yeah, Corberan the same. We've been hearing Corberan's second favourite. We all wanted, well, some of us wanted Corberan as the manager, and then you find out Leeds haven't approached West Brom to speak to Corberan. But again, apparently, so if we believe there's no leaks coming from the club, then every manager that's been linked with Leeds is paper talk, which means every manager that's been ruled out of Leeds is also paper talk. So we're in this, and it's like, Kate, you said it brilliantly. And one of your morning streams, Kate, I thought you said it absolutely brilliantly. In the absence of any news, someone will fill the void and fill that with some sort of news. Whether it's true or not is a different story. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've heard so many stories and on people's channels this morning saying that Vieira is going to be in place by tomorrow. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? I would do a video.
Balanced saying that, going, yeah, that's. I really don't want it. I really don't want it.
Do you know what? Right, I'll be honest. I'm coming around to it.
Well, don't do that. This is what's it? A Munchausen syndrome, whatever it is. It's like if you're just told repeatedly, you start to believe it. You know, what's that? If you're told that if someone tells a lie often enough, it becomes the truth.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to
listening
to Joe's show last night. He had a Palace fan on. I don't know if you guys saw that. And the Palace, I can't remember his name. I've forgotten it. But he kept saying when Vieira got sacked, he still wanted him. You know, the first season was really good. It was, you know, Palace fans loved it. They broke records, you know, for them. Something happened, you know, similar to what happened at Leeds. Something happened in the dressing room. Was it an ego clash? Was it injuries? Was it recruitment he wasn't happy with? Was he proving a point?
It's still Palace curse, isn't it?
Yeah. Can he learn? Has he learned from that experience? You know, there's a lot of things there which you just don't know. So I'm coming round to it.
I say it all the time. I have no problem with people making mistakes, but make new ones.
Yeah.
Make new mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he has learned from his mistakes,
I like that phrase. Yeah, make new mistakes.
Yeah, are you sure you don't want to be the manager?
It didn't work for the amateur side that I was coaching.
Is it you, Joe? Are you the one? Are you the one?
Five games into the season this year, Ollie, I resigned. So that's
that amateur side probably gives our lead side quite a good game, so I wouldn't worry about it.
No, it was a massive mistake. I shouldn't have done it. It's just made me realize I don't ever want to coach again. So anyway, getting off topic. Yeah, look, we'll have to wait and see. We're 45 minutes. We'll wrap this up in a sec. But just to go back to the entire point of this stream, which we've gone miles off topic.
True.
Really good conversation. I really enjoyed this. Thanks. So when everything's going reasonably well, we get to the cut and thrust of it at the end. April and May, we get to finish with fellow relegated from the Premier League side Southampton, which could be a straight up fist fight for top spot if everything goes well for both of us. And then we've got an interesting wrap up as well. Hull City local derby, Coventry and Sunderland again, if they depend on how their seasons go. And Blackburn also in their Middlesbrough again. So we pretty much get that same block at the end, which is a tricky looking block. Ollie, coming into April, how do you think we'll fare? Do you like the look of the finish? We do finish with a home game on the back just after, two back-to-back away games.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it just depends where we are, depends where everyone else is, obviously. But looking at that right now, I think we could maybe get a few points at the start of the month. Obviously, away games are always difficult, but I'm going to put another crazy thing out there, okay? I said in August we were going to go unbeaten. Southampton won't do anything this season.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you, Ollie.
I just don't. And if they can keep on to Ward-Prowse, I don't think they will. But if they could, maybe. But I don't see them being a massive threat to us.
I don't.
Are you not?
I have chatted some absolute shit today. I apologize.
No, but
You're really not. You're really not.
I agree with you.
Are you in the bracket that believes that James Ward-Prowse is more than a free kick? Because I'm not.
I like James Ward-Prowse, but I don't think he's this. I think he'll be very good in the Championship if they could keep on, 100%. But free kicks, his set pieces win them games, so that's why it can't be, taken out of it. But yeah, I don't think he's the best. But yeah, I'm just not worried about Southampton. Oh god, do not clip this. Whatever happens, do not clip this. But I just don't think Southampton are going to be. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near it.
Okay,
I'm out of here.
Bold prediction, but we'll do before the start of the season. We'll do a predictions video as well, and we'll get that.
Oh god,
we can clip the crap out of that one. Lucky, how you feel looking coming into April? Run the games again.
I think we've already won the league by that point. So
nice.
No.
Do you think we have to be up there though? We have to be like, because for me, looking at it, I think if we're not in a strong position coming into April, that could be tricky. This
might be naive. I want us comfortably in second place at least by that point.
I agree.
Similar to what Sheffield were, Burnley. I want us up there. I don't care if it's Southampton or Leicester or whoever's with us, but I want us top two comfortably by that point. So we have some leeway. There's gonna be pressure at that point, isn't there? Take a draw.
Do you actually think we can be there? I know that sounds like
potential.
Yeah, I know. So if buts and maybes at the moment, isn't it? But I just don't know if this Leeds United side, adding a few additions, comfortably does something like that. Do you know what I mean? We're too good to be true. We're too non-Leeds.
Yeah, it is true. Good. You're right. What I'm looking at though is, I know it's not this year's Championship, it's last year's, but last year's Championship, Sheffield United were fairly comfortably in second place for most of the season.
I think so. Yeah.
And their squad, and no disrespect with Paul Higginbottom, he's done well at places, didn't do well at Leeds, but that manager got Sheffield United comfortably in second place.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that thinking, if we just invest right, get the right players, the right manager in, have that culture, we can be up there, definitely, 100%. Yeah. If we get it right.
Respect.
How you feel?
I think the coaching matters, doesn't it? So much. I mean, literally, like Bielsa, he didn't really have a lot to work with, but what he did, he got the best out of every single player that was with us. So, I mean, that's why it's so important to get the manager right. And I mean, I agree with Ollie, to be honest with you, that Southampton with Russell Martin there, I just do not see them competing with the likes of Borough and Leicester. I think they're going to have a good season. I've got a feeling. I think that new guy is, I don't know, I just think he's, off the back of Pep. I think he'll have learned a lot. So yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think Kelly said something, Leeds, Leicester, and Middlesbrough to be top three. I kind of agree with that, and Southampton to struggle. I agree. So yeah, they're my predictions. Unless it's Patrick Vieira, and it'd be like, opposite way around.
It seems to me, from what I've noticed, like Leicester and us, where the two talk, everyone's speaking, and we want to go up straight away. Southampton seems to be a bit more of a project with Russell Martin. You know, a bit more of a 2 or 3 year project like Sunderland are doing, maybe something like that. Middlesbrough are doing. But I think for us and Leicester, I think there's more pressure in a way because we're putting that on ourselves potentially to coach straight away.
No, definitely. I think I agree with that actually. Maybe that's why I've been a bit harsh on Southampton, because when you are talking about the 2 teams to go up, everyone's going, oh, well, Leicester, Leeds, and then someone else, or but yeah, I don't know. I just want the season to start now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate this bit where we don't know, and especially like I've said the whole stream, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who's staying and stuff. No. But I hope that we can be in around the top 2 or top 4. But it's just I look at some of these players, the same players that are going to be there, who were there last year, who are still there. I don't think a lot of them have that when the going gets tough. I don't think they have it.
Yeah, recruitment's huge, isn't it? Recruitment is
massive.
Once we get the coaching, recruitment, the next 2 weeks after that is absolutely massive. Ins and outs,
What about, can I just put this out there? Gary O'Neill, surprise sacking from Burnley, or maybe not such a surprise. Personally, not my bag. Anybody else think anything?
I don't know enough about him personally. No, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
He did really well with Bournemouth. He and that's he's the reason I don't want Scott Parker on our Leeds outside of the Cardigans. And also his press conference, I just think he talks.
Someone said he looks like a Thunderbirds, which is hilarious.
Incredible. He's another one with no identity, I think. No footballing identity.
Players. Yeah, I mean, and the other side of it as well. If we were so aggressively against Alfred Schroeder taking over Leeds in January, he did better at Bruges. He did better at Bruges than Parker did. I think Parker won 2 games at Bruges, but you were expected to win the league every year over there. Yes. It can't be him. But if you look at what he said about that Bournemouth team, pretty much 2-3 weeks into the start of the season, he said this team isn't good enough to stay in the Premier League. We need backing, and the board sacked him on the back of that, and they gave it to Gary O'Neill, who kept that squad in the Premier League. So for me, it's a case of Parker's a manager who needs players. You need to buy him the team for him to win something. He's not a coach.
Which we all, any 4 of us could do that if we had amazing players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course you could. Well, there's always that argument about you've got managers who can buy a team and do really, really well. Pep's a great coach, but I also put him into this bracket as well because he will get the best players in the best positions, but then he can get them. He has the skill to be able to get those big names to work together.
Why does he get those there, Joe? Because he's proven himself, right?
He's proven himself. Yeah, of course he has. Yeah, but he's never been at a club that didn't have money. That's also important to say as well.
But he also creates a good culture with us.
He does, and he creates a great style of football. But he's able, and that's an ability to manage big egos is a huge thing, and he can do that. But you've got other managers who. And Sam Alex is probably in this bracket. When he did have a few quid at Bolton to spend, he bought a decent side and he did reasonably well with them. But when he didn't have money, he hasn't exactly coached teams to be better. And then you've got coaches who don't need money to coach teams to be better. And then if you give them money, they can add to that.
Yeah.
Then you have coaches that if you give them money, just have no idea at all what to do with it and end up buying duds, which we saw last year with us. So it's a tricky one to get right. These are different people. It's I see Stephen Gerrard linked with the Sheffield Wednesday job today, which is good. Great news. Keep doing that. I'm pretty sure
6
I saw him.
there.
Did I not see him with a scarf for what is it? FICAC or FITAC they're called, the team that he was linked in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, he was walking into the stadium or something.
I'm pretty sure I saw him with a scarf over his head. I was like, that's that done. I was like, nope.
Really weird.
I think he must have thought they were getting the Newcastle money and decided, actually, do you know what? No, we're not. So I'm out of here. Yeah, look, it has to be a sensible. I think it's a sensible approach to this, a sensible point. I think it will be. I think it will be. But, and then
it needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be now because they've waited. In my opinion, it's been far too long that we need to now. It needs to be the right manager. I'm okay with waiting until Monday if it's the right person. If it's about, like you said, I was always thinking let's just get us out of the Premier League and then we're there. But no, I'm actually in that feeling now. That it needs to be a 3 to 5 year plan. We need to bring that culture back. We've gone from everyone's, second favorite team to this team that are just a bit meh. I just think so. I want Leeds back. I want the entertaining Leeds back. And I think we all do as fans, as neutrals, people want to watch Leeds play, good football again. Like I said, last season, we just turned into that team where you're like, I don't know.
It's painful to watch, wasn't it? Like, it really was excruciating to watch.
Do you remember the first game, Bielsa, at home against Stoke? That feeling we had.
Yeah.
Oh,
I will screenshot your invite and put it on the screen. Don't.
He done this to me as well.
He
He's
does
done
this
this
to
to
everyone.
me. Never liked him.
I
Never
was,
liked him.
I was going to say about the silence and it's taking so long thing. The article that was written about that Murate commented on about their recruitment style. I've written from me here. It says Jed York and Murate spent 31 days interviewing 23 different general managers and head coach candidates. They stayed true to their process. They took a lot of heat at the time from fans for taking too long. When they hired the coach, they got it right and they chose patience. And as far as they're concerned, it worked perfectly for them. Shanahan's been in the job since 2017. Their general manager's been in the job since 2017 as well. So that's where I'm kind of going.
23 managers, 23 interviewees.
Interviewed 23 different managers. Yeah.
Don't think we've got 23 free in around this place, have we?
I don't think it's 23, but they seem to be doing something similar where they go and they interview like more than 2 or 3 people. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Even if you're not our first choice, come and talk to us, put it in front of us, try and see what you can do. And again, that's where the Darren Moore piece comes from as well, is you don't know if he's walked in and gone, this is what I would do at your club, and they've gone, that's exactly what we want. You know, yeah, we don't know. We wait, as Joe said, Pat tomorrow. So we'll if we get through tomorrow with no Patrick Vieira announcement, then we know
ban him. He's a troll. You got to ban him.
Yeah, I think if we get through tomorrow with no Patrick Vieira, I think that's done.
Him.
Yeah, I think it'll be done. It should have been tonight or tomorrow if it was him personally.
Yeah, I would agree. And if Graham Smith is correct, and again, the Robin Koch, that was what Graham Smith said last week. That Robin Koch, everyone was saying he had a free clause in his contract to leave. He went and checked it and came back and said he doesn't have a free clause in his contract. Leeds will get a fee from. And then everyone starts saying, well, it's a loan. He's got a loan clause. Like, no one has a clause in their contract that says you can go on loan. You know, no one has that. But yeah, look, we'll wait and see. If you get through tomorrow and there's no Vieira, then we know it's probably not him. What was that, Kate?
Oh, so just tell Joe, pack it in. Confirmed.
Yeah, no.
Joe
is
so,
in the know.
Confirmed, you know. Don't think so, mate.
Hey, Joe, they should call him.
Just these 3 sources. What's that? HP, ketchup, and
right, if that is true, right? Envision this: it's a sunny first day of the season, sunny day. Ellen Road's full. The crowd's happy. Patrick Vieira comes out in his little gilet. We're playing Cardiff off the park. That's the vision. That's the goal.
Really?
Well, that would be
and then back in the room, back in the real world.
Yeah. It was 2-1 down in 8.5 minutes.
Joe.
If Patrick Vieira gets announced tomorrow,
oh no,
I will do my next video bollocks naked. All right, it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening tomorrow.
I'm not sure it's not happening, Ollie. I'm not sure.
Not part of that.
I'll have to get mine naked.
We'll have to wait and see.
If he gets announced tomorrow, you'll never see a video on my channel again.
If he doesn't get announced tomorrow, I won't be sharing any updates from Team Talk ever again, because they've got some massive. They are definitive in what they've written today, where they say he will be announced as a new manager tomorrow, and the Guardian have said the exact same thing, that he will be announced as manager.
How
tomorrow.
do they know though?
I don't know. And this is the
Wait, who said this?
Flying around, isn't it?
Team Talk today. So they the Team Talk article. I'll get the note again. Team Talk said that there we go.
I didn't know there was receipts.
According to Team Talk, Leeds United are set to make Patrick Vieira their new head coach. The article claims that Leeds will make the announcement on Friday. They claim that it was between Vieira and Farke. Guardian are also claiming that Leeds will announce Vieira, who turns 47 tomorrow. It's also
I believe Graham.
Yeah,
I believe Graham.
I'm more likely to believe Graham, because Graham seems to go and talk to the club. And as I said, with the Robin Koch thing, he said he went and checked it with the club, and they said no. Not the case. So
Joe's gonna be right. I've got a feeling Joe's gonna be right.
Yeah, if Joe's right, it's only tomorrow. By the way, I'm making that deal. If he gets confirmed Saturday, then I'm not doing it. If it's tomorrow, it fares.
Has to be tomorrow. That's the cutoff.
Yeah, has to be tomorrow. I'll get in the gym. Don't worry.
Tomorrow. Go.
Yeah.
Right. We'll wrap it up, folks. Bang on the hour here. Massive thanks to Ollie Ward from the Ollie Ward channel, Kate from Leeds Bird Rants, and Lockie from Lockie Leeds. Ollie, what's going on your channel this week?
Well, you know what's going to happen. He's going to
say, tune in. Yeah, I was going to say. No, just to keep an update, and with everything going on, there'll be some news. There'll be some other things. I'm just kind of playing it all by ear, seeing how Leeds get on. But yeah, no, thanks for having me on again, mate. I've really enjoyed it. Apart from the last few minutes where I've just completely embarrassed myself. But
you've backed yourself into pretty big corner here, mate. But that's
yeah,
okay.
I've made a lot of bold claims tonight. I don't really know what's wrong with me. But I'm
just think of your viewing figures, Ollie. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It'll be very low or very high, you know.
yeah. Believe me, that'll be very low.
Hey, what's going on with you this week or next week?
Oh, just the usual, you know, like doing my little breakfast show and yeah, just like planning some stuff. Just yeah, exciting times.
Cool.
Thanks
Lucky,
for
are we
having
gonna
me
get it?
on,
Are we gonna get a Vieira breakdown?
Might have to. Yeah, I'll do my best to try and convince everyone that he's the right man.
You do a
Don't,
Vieira
Lockie.
breakdown,
You're supposed to be
and
keeping-
I'll have a breakdown if Vieira comes in.
Yeah.
You need to stop starting sentences with "if you do this, I will." You did. Not going out your vocabulary, mate.
No.
But yeah,
Right,
yeah.
we will we'll wrap
see.
it up. Everyone's channels are linked down below in the description. Go check them out. Go subscribe, follow their channels. Some really, really good channels there. I keep saying we've got some of the best Leeds. Leeds have some of the best YouTube content creators out there, and some very different styles as well. So there's something for everybody. Go check it out. You won't be bored and you won't be disappointed. So that's it. Ollie, thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Kate, thanks.
Bless you. Thanks.
And
thanks,
Lockie,
mate.
thank you very much, mate.
Cheers.
See you, folks. Bye.
Good luck.
Bye.